speak for themselves. We thank you for that commitment. But more importantly, we thank you every day for being the voice in Washington for those veterans who cannot speak for themselves. Please join me in welcoming our United States Senator, Scott Brown.
Getting ready for the Celtics game tonight, I know that all. You're here early, want to get home and start getting big screen in the bar tonight. Thank you for pointing that out. Are you buying for everybody? She said she's buying for everybody, so first round's on her. First of all, I'm honored to be here. Before I get started, Denny Drury. Denny, raise your hand. Denny is a veteran. He is a Vietnam Veteran Special Forces. He is on my team representing you all. We also have 5 other veterans, some presently serving, handling a lot of your events. Austin Lord is the gentleman who handles a lot of the VA claims in Boston. Some of you may have dealt with him. If there are any issues that you need right now, Denny is going to stay after, and you can coordinate with him. A couple of corrections. Listen, I've been on the flag issue for long before a month ago. It's been years. And in addition to that, I'm on the Armed Services Committee. So Armed Services, Homeland, Veterans, Small Business. So I get the soldiers when they get in, making sure that they have the tools and resources to do their jobs, do it well, and come home safely to all of you. That's the first thing. And then when they come home, I have to make sure through the Veterans Committee that if there are problems that we can get them fixed. We can make them whole. We can address the claims and other problems that you're having, because the biggest problem that I know of is the red tape associated with filing a claim. That's why we made this issue the #1 issue in our office, making sure that those heroes who have fought overseas for us don't have to also fight for jobs when they get home. That's why I was happy to be the original co-sponsor of the Hire a Hero Veterans Bill, in which our employers can actually get up to a $9,600 tax credit to hire those veterans who are fighting to get jobs back home, #1. #2, recognizing that our heroes who are buried in Arlington National Cemetery, three people in one grave, 2 in another, none in another, body parts in a mulch pile. Are you kidding me? Yeah. Senator McCaskill and I recognized that there was obviously a very real problem. So in the middle of all the gridlock, 100 to nothing, we passed the Arlington Cemetery Bill, and they're fixing that problem, which is incredibly important for the dignity of those heroes who have served our country so well. There are many other things that we have been trying to address with your help. The legislative team that you have coming to Washington, it matters. It absolutely matters. I don't know it all. I'm the first one to admit it. I'm still serving, and I know probably more than most, because being in for 32 years and still serving, it's something that I've been doing longer than anything else in my life. It's something when I wake up in the morning, I say, wow, I can't believe it, I'm still in the military. I joined when I was 19 after the blizzard of '78, many of you know that. Joined the National Guard, the 101st Engineer Battalion out of Reading. Still serving now, I'm at the Pentagon working on issues that affect our Guard as a whole instead of individual cases. And one of the things that is very important is something we all just learned about, and I was disgusted by it, quite frankly. Once again, our heroes who are going there fighting, now they have to fight for housing, apparently. Can you imagine that? Somebody comes over and they want to rent a house and says, oh, by the way, I don't agree with what you've been doing protecting our country, so I'm not going to rent it to you. Well, I filed an amendment that made sure that we address this in the federal housing across this country, that our veterans who are serving our country, who want to come and get fair housing, they're going to be treated fairly. So I filed that the other day based on the Boston Herald story out of left field. How many here get TRICARE? Yeah, quite a few. Well, they're trying to take it away. And I've been battling regularly with the administration, working through the Veterans Committee to make sure that we honor that contract between you and the federal government. Before they look to take away those benefits, we need to make sure that we look at other ways to pay for those types of things. I could go on and on and on. The Hire a Hero Veterans Bill, as I referenced. In Massachusetts, when I was in the state legislature, the welcome home bonus, the anti-discrimination, the reemployment rights, the educational benefits. These are things that I've been working on long before I got to the United States Senate, folks. And serving in the military, aside from my marriage to Gail of 25 years and the birth of my children, being your senator has been the greatest honor that I've ever had in my life. And very close to that is that military service that I've had, combined with that honor to serve you as a senator. And the fact that I'm there, one of only a handful of people, Senator Kirk, Senator Graham, and I are the only active military members still serving in the United States Senate. Others have military experience. So when I was able to go to Afghanistan as a senator in what's called a CODEL, it's an official visit, I learned about the challenges there with the local police and the Army and other entities that are trying to help get that country squared away. But I was able to go back last summer as a soldier and learn even more. For example, did you know that when we're contracting with an entity that is doing a road project or a bridge project or a school project, and we find out that they're the enemy, they're actually members of the Taliban and Al-Qaeda, we can't break that contract. Did you know that? We have to still pay them. And if we don't, we get sued. How about that? Is that great? Really. We have the Al-Qaeda now hiring attorneys to help collect their money. Well, now that I learned about that when I was over there last summer, the no contracting with the enemy is now part of the Defense Authorization Bill. So we, in fact, can now cut those contracts and make sure that we don't have to pay money that are to entities and groups that are trying to kill us. I mean, it makes common sense. I also learned when I was there that some of our National Guardsmen who were serving, their BAH was cut in half in the middle of the battle. The middle of the battle, they were losing $1,500, upwards of $1,500. So what does that mean? To the average soldier who's in the battle and they get a call from their husband or wife back home and say, by the way, honey, where's the money? We can't pay the bills. You don't think that soldier's not going to be refocused on the home front instead of the battle? So we were able to fix that. We fixed it last year, we fixed it this year, and that's another good thing that's very, very important. And as you know, you have these soldiers, these kind of PX soldiers that go around and buy their medals and make representations as to who they are and what they've done in their service. And we all know it's wrong. You all sitting here in this room are the heroes that have served our country and the spouses of you all. And let me just share something with you. I have a speech. I never use it. My staff over there said, oh my gosh, what's he going to say now? Because remember, I'm the guy who said his daughters are available on national TV. Sure, I will not talk about my family except that I love them very, very much. But, I'll never forget as long as I live. I started as an enlisted man, like many of you. Went through ROTC, airborne, company commander, infantry quartermaster, now I'm a JAG. One of my experiences with a JAG, as a JAG, it still moves me to think about it. I was doing the wills and the trusts and the powers of attorney and the mobilization, the pre-mobilization for a unit that was going. And there was a 6'5" guy, one of those guys, like some of you in this room, their uniforms don't fit them, their muscles are too big. He comes in and he had a little chip on his shoulder, I noticed. So we sit down and we talk, and he was kind of being a little bit kind of a wise guy. And I was inquiring, like, what's the story, what's up? And I sensed that there was a real problem with this soldier. And we started talking about wills. And when you're talking about a will and you're going off to battle, it can get a little bit interesting. So this soldier started talking to me about how he was newly married, just had a baby. The wife wasn't really, a little concerned about him going away. He kind of started tearing up. And I'm like, whoa, he's a 6'5" guy, he's tearing up, he's a little concerned about going away. I was wondering, and he looked right at me, like piercing eyes right through me. He said, sir, I will go through that wall. I will do whatever I'm told to do, but I'm so scared that I'm not going to come home, and I'll never get to see my baby daughter. And that, even now, it's something that moves me very much, and that every single one of you in this room who has done that type of duty understands. Even if you're going away to AT, you can always, going up in your mobilization in the convoy, you can get in an accident and perish tomorrow. So this soldier said he will go through a wall, and then his deepest concern is about his family and whether he's going to have his wife when he got home, and whether he was also going to be able to see his baby daughter. Well, knowing that, we were able to connect him with, obviously, the chaplain, obviously connect him with the appropriate folks to help out in that regard, make sure there was communication throughout the mission. There were letters back and forth. There was a strong family support, and nobody does it better than Massachusetts folks, making sure they have their strong family support units. If she needed a break, she got a break. If she needed help with the babysitter, she got it. So when he got home, he saw me, and he basically came up and gave me a big hug and corrected my dad, which was a good thing. And he said, "Thank you." I'll tell you what, those 2 words were the best words I've heard as a JAG. And just thank you for the effort that, you know, I was initially able to identify as a cog in the wheel, but then we were able to, as a team, as a family unit, as the military spouses and family of the Massachusetts Guard, here in the military as well, we were able to make that family and keep that family together. Those are the types of things that mean more to me than anything, is that family connection. You know what means even more is walking into my office in Boston and seeing a wall filled with letters from veterans who have been struggling to get a resolution of their claims that take 400 or 500 days initially, sometimes 5, 6, 7, 10 years. How many people have had trouble with claims? Raise your hand. Yeah, of course, quite a few. We need to do it better. So I just want to say, I can't do this alone. I know there's a lot of Democrats in here, independents, Republicans, but what's the one thing we all are? We're Americans first, of course. We're Americans first, and we're in trouble. We've already cut $500 billion from military. We have sequestration, which could cut another $500 billion. $500 billion. That's $1 trillion affecting our military. Listen, I, for one, as I was with Senator McCain last night, I'm going to continue to find ways to work together, number one. I'm the 2nd most bipartisan senator in the United States Senate. I vote 54% of the time with my party. Every other member of the delegation votes 97 and above. Okay? So when you're talking about solving problems, I will work with any person of goodwill who walks in my door. You deserve better. You deserve somebody down there who's doing exactly what I said I was going to do, folks. I said I was going to be that independent voter and thinker. And don't let people mislead you and trick you and distort my record. You know, they've been misleading you as voters for the last couple of months. And I think you know what I'm talking about. You can't be misleading and you can't be dishonest. You have to talk honestly and openly about the issues affecting us. And in your situation, it's about making sure we have the tools and resources to not only take care of your kids now, or your grandchildren who are serving, but when they come back and when you are here, and as long as you live, to make sure that we can provide the adequate resources to make you whole and respect you by providing you with the benefits that you've earned. I'm living it. I'm one of you. I've been in 32 years. I'm soon to be promoted to colonel. I'm working very, very hard now to make sure that our Guard and Reserves, Hanscom Air Force Base, I was able to protect that and make it a 3-star, which is critically important. It's a cybersecurity base in the middle of a cybersecurity battle that we absolutely need. Making sure that our Air Guard and Air Reserve units are whole and kept whole as the Air Force is trying to reorganize and keep all of their toys in the active duty. Was able to get that done in the Defense Authorization Bill. Because not only is it a safety and security issue for our country in the eastern United States, it also deals with jobs. It's all about jobs and making sure that we can be ready, effective, and have people working so they can provide for their families. So let me just close by saying one more thing. The fact that you are all here in such amazing numbers is wonderful to see. I love having you all come down, whether it's the VFW, the Legion, any veterans, the Purple Heart recipients, of which Denny is one of them, he's head of that group, coming down and talking to me about the things that matter and what matters. It matters that you have somebody who understands exactly what you're going through, who has the team in place to recognize those problems and help fix them. Once again, I don't know it all, folks. But if you know what I'll do, I'll find a way to figure it out, because I read the bills. I read them, I see how they affect our state, our country, our debt and our deficit, and I vote. That's it. It's easy. 54% of the time. 2nd most bipartisan senator. There's a reason why I was in the White House, and by the way, I'm not sure if you all know that, because I didn't know this, you could actually go down to Washington as an elected official and do insider trading and not go to jail. You know that? Well, now they will. Because my bill that I stood in the Rose Garden with the president was signed that actually makes it illegal for any members of Congress or the administration to do insider trading, use any privileged non-public information for personal financial gain. That's a good thing. So I look forward to being here next year as your United States Senator too.
Senator, we're sure upon your re-election you will not be a stranger to